Good afternoon, friends. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give everybody another minute or so to jump in. I was running a little late, and guess what? Some other people are as well. Eventbrite is a good partner of ours, but sometimes the Eventbrite lags a little bit here, so we'll give you a minute or so. Hope you guys are having a good day. All right. So give it about another second here, and then we will get going. How's everybody doing today? Feel free to I'm going to take my camera and turn it on here in a second, and would love to see your beautiful faces as well. Right. We just got a few of you so far. Eddie, what's going on, my friend?
Not much, man. Not much at all.
Hey, well, let's make some stuff happen. Ed,
Sounds good.
how are you doing? Ed, good to see you. Tara, how you doing? We're going to be having Tabor join us as well here in just a moment. So this session is being recorded. We had a bunch of registrations. I know it's noon on a Friday and it's a beautiful day out. So we know that realtors are busy. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. I do want to check my messages just one more time in terms of people trying to get in here from there's Tabron.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, sir. All right. What I'm going to do today, we've had some requests for this, is talk about Zenlist. It's one of my favorite tools. It's something that, for those of you that are going to be watching this later, there were some people that registered for this that are not at Exit Strategy Realty, that are not part of Project X, but you can get Zenlist as a agent within MRED. So Zenlist is actually works with multiple MLSs, but what Zenlist does, and I'll kind of give you the background on how I got into Zenlist and what the power of the app is for me, is this is one of the most powerful tools that I've found making a unique value proposition for me as a realtor. And what I was running into, and Tabor and you and I work together, is there's so many things to do as an agent. Getting on Connect MLS, which is MRAD, our MLS providers, MLS, and setting up searches that then your client ends up wanting to add an area, they want a different price point, etc. That was already taking up a lot of time. And I didn't love the interface between the MLS and the consumer. I didn't feel like it wasn't an app. Number one, there wasn't an app. And number two, it wasn't very consumer friendly. The user experience, the UX for the user was not very good. But beyond that, me being an agent, and this is why as a coach I feel I'm effective, is that as an agent still out in the streets with y'all, I saw more and more people putting properties on the private listing network. And as we all know, the private listing network, if you set up a traditional MLS search, an auto prospecting search, which is the easy button, that's the way we send properties to our clients, it doesn't send the private listing network listings. And more importantly, the consumer, when they're out looking on the public portals, realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, etc., homes.com, all those portals, the private listing network listings don't show up. And so in some neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you guys in a moment, 20%, over 20% of the properties are not showing up for the consumer when you set them up on the search. So as a realtor, you're not doing part of your job. And as a realtor, I knew that for me to manually go in every day and look for the private listing network listings that would be appropriate for my client and manually send it to them, things were going to start slipping through the cracks. And I realized I had to have an app for that. And so that's how I found Zenlist. It is the only app that does what it does. It is an absolutely epic app for a lot of reasons. And what I wanted to do today is share my experience with the app, but then also let Tabron talk about and maybe share his screen and do what he likes about the app as a also a team owner, owns, he started his own team. He's worked on my team. He still works with me on my clients. So you've got some really great people on here that are using this app to the max. And when I say to the max, the number one agent in Chicago, Matt Laracy, is also one of the early adopters and biggest promoters of the Zenlist app. We talked about it when we had the Libert and Laracy top producers panel at A&M Mortgage back in January. The private listing network is not going away. It's actually becoming more and more prominent. So for those of you that are watching this later or that are guests, at Exit Strategy Realty Project X, I pay for Zenlist for everybody. There's a one-time $250 platform fee to be a part of all of our tools. But this, I think, is one of the most dynamic tools that we have. It's one of the most powerful tools. If you as an individual agent want to go out and get this, you can absolutely go out and get it. I'm going to show you, I've actually got a discount code for you to go out and get it on your own. And I'm obviously doing public trainings on it. You can go out and get it on your own as an agent. It is expensive, but it is well worth it. Let me go ahead and show you a couple great things about Zenlist. And also, I want to show you what's going on with the private listing network. Our friend Taylor over at Zenlist, for some of you that have been around me and Project X a while, you may know Taylor from Zenlist. She's amazing. Her and Andre's the one of their big developers. On the back end, the program is the developers that make the app and the platform so great. We have a great working relationship. That's one of my key things with all of our vendors. Taylor just sent me some extra resources for us today to have as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. So what do I love about Zenlist? Well, let me show you all kinds of things. Well, we were just saying Matt Laracy's name. This is a public realtor training. I love training everybody, not just exit strategy agents. Matt Laracy's a good friend of mine, number one agent in all of Chicagoland. Matt Laracy was also an early adopter of Zenlist, but he also was one of the people that, along with me, we were using Linktree to give all our items of value out to our consumers. And it's really hard when you're out there running around to try to send this link, send that link. So we're using Linktree and spending money on Linktree Premium. And the developers, actually, Andres from Zenlist came to me through Taylor and came to Matt and a few other people and said, tell us what you like about Linktree. We would like to make something even better that obviously has all the Zenlist features built right in. So this is Matt Laracy's Zenlist Zenlink. He's got his reviews, a lot more reviews than most of us. He's got his map of all his listings. He's got his video of he's got a podcast. He's got a video on there. You can add your video. You can add your social media content. So he's got a very nice built out Zenlist Zenlink. That is one of the big things I love about Zenlist is you have all your items of value in one place. My Zenlist Zenlink is teamlibert.com. So that's for some of us, it negates the need for a website. Literally, this is part of my website. My master website is nicklibert.com, which is actually an Exit Realty template. And then you click on resources and you go straight into this. This is my Zenlist Zenlink. I've got a video just like Matt. You can add your resume, your realtor resume. You can add Google documents, all that kind of stuff. You want to get your Zillow reviews, your Google reviews. The big thing is keep that request access button towards the top because we're going to talk in a second about how critical this tool is to get more properties into more people's hands than anywhere else. I've got a podcast. You can add my podcast. You can do all kinds of fun things on there. Get your social media. Give your consumers all your bells and whistles. What's your unique value proposition? Tell them your story. I've got my digital buyer guide and digital seller guide for those of us that exit. We've got those tools. I've got those links right there. I've got RPR market reports. I'm a certified trainer in RPR if you guys need help. All that cool stuff. I've got my Calendly link on there. All of that neat stuff, all built right in. It's all part of the platform. But for the consumer, that's for us, right? We're the realtor. That's cool for us. What does it do for the consumer? Let me show you. If you have not recently done one of these searches, you should do one. Go in and take a look at your neighborhood and see what's going on in the private listing network. So Eddie's on with us. I'm going to pick on a neighborhood of his in a little bit and see what he's seeing, but I'm going to do my neighborhood first. You guys may have seen this last night if you guys were on our coaching our Project X consumer education series. We were talking about another product of ours, but we did a little preview of what's going on with Zenlist, and I said, look at this, guys, in Lakeview right now, in my neighborhood, there are a total of, you have to excuse me, there's a nice garbage truck in the background. Always, I love live trainings. You can see these. Can you guys see my screen? Good. All right. So you can see all these things in green. That's what your consumer gets on the traditional MLS search or on the public portals. But then you see all this stuff in blue. That's the private listing network. That's the stuff they're not getting on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, or on those auto prospecting searches you've been setting up for years. So that's 214 total listings in Lakeview right now altogether. But when I take out the private listing network, it's 170. So what's that math, guys? 44 out of 215, 20.4% of the listings in this neighborhood are not on the open market. They're not available through a traditional MLS search. Are you sending them to your clients? Now, some of you are already with Exit Strategy and you've been using this where you're going to look for the more advanced features and what Tabron's going to talk to you about, what he loves about the app. And I'm actually going to let him do some talking and give myself a break so he can show you what his favorite features are. But as a baseline, are you getting all these properties out to your consumers? And remember, it's not just for sales, it's also for leasing. It's for commercial. It's got everything in there. And if you're a dual license agent or considered to be a dual license agent, or you want to refer out, it's really, really easy. And for a dual license agent, it's magic because I'm licensed in Indiana and Illinois. I'm a part of the Northwest NIRA, the Northern Indiana Realtor Association. Whole different, it's not Connect MLS. They've got a different system over there. So I've got to log into a different MLS if my client wants to see stuff in Indiana. If they're going back and forth between the states, they're going to get, in a traditional way, two MLS searches from two different portals that look two totally different ways. I'm getting two different systems going. It's a mess. Not with Zenlist. It's all in one thing. Zenlist can take multiple feeds from multiple MLS portals. So in other words, if you're dual licensed or in multiple MLSs, they can connect this all in one search for you. So I've talked quite a bit. I am going to, I'll warn you, I will talk more because there's more coming from me that I want to show you that I love. But I would like to turn it over to my good friend and team member in some ways, and then he's got his own team now. So CEO of the Next Gen Group, Tabor, I'm going to stop my screen share. Tell us and show us what you like about Zenlist.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. My name is Tabor Smith. I am the owner of the Next Gen Group here at Exit. Nick and I have worked alongside each other for many, many years now. I started, what are we in? Almost 6 years now going on together. So him and I kind of started together. I learned the business as a very fresh agent. I still consider myself very new to this industry. And, every day I'm learning something new. Every day there's always something to keep us on our toes, as we know. But as it relates to, this particular topic and Zenlist, it's truly been almost like career changing, for me in particular. When we were first starting, I was learning the MLS and all the tools and features and benefits. And, again, at the time, there was no app, there was no true efficiency system there. You had to really know the ins and outs of the MLS, you know, back end systems to really get the most out of it. And for somebody who's running a million miles a minute every day, all day, we're on showings appointments, we're on Zoom calls, we're in consultations, we're doing listing presentations. Like there's so many things that we do in a day. And the biggest concern that I was getting feedback from for newer clients for me at the time was, there was no efficiency. They wished they had an app. They wished they had something to make finding properties easier, right? So, after months of research, Nick brought it to Exit and said, "Hey, this is an option. This is something that, we're considering." And him and I, like you mentioned, we've worked together for, many, many years on many, clients that we've had the pleasure of working with together on. And in that moment when we transitioned into Zenlist, it was like I could breathe, you know. It was like a weight was lifted because it was so easy, just for the consumer side, right? There's benefits to both sides for both the agent and the consumer. And I have a little bit of a list to share with you guys today, but just a few main talking points before I share my screen. Was really the ease of the reference for real-time client communication and property options that they were able to see like immediately, right? They had that need, still have that need of finding properties that are on Zillow, on Redfin, all these other third-party consumer search platforms. But they're running into that, well, oh, I just saw it, but now it's marked contingent, right? Or oh, it just sold. That's a constant consumer issue, right? They're unable to see these properties in time to actually go tour. There's already an accepted offer on it by the time it even hits their inbox. Now, with Zenlist, they're able to get the notification immediately once it hits the PLN, right? And as Nick mentioned, the private listing network isn't consumer accessible. So as an agent, as that uh, bridged gap, I guess, of being able to provide that resource to your clients or to my clients, it's been exponential in terms of retaining my client because they don't think now, okay, well, it's my fault they didn't see it, right? Now I'm giving them something and actually gets it in their hands immediately. So the private listing network is huge. The tour section, again, like I said, there is a mass, and I'll actually share my screen for these just so you guys can kind of see. Um, where this is at. Go here real quick. There we go. So when I'm going through my tour section, again, all of the clients are already pre-listed out. I love that it gives you real-time updates on when they're active again, but showing you exactly, okay, this person's searching, this person just saved this person just, tour requested this. I get all of that information directly into my CRM of choice as well. So, that's another added, uh, agent perk, is this can serve as itself, right? It's a great platform on its own. But for somebody like me that, is super type A and just needs, kind of a checklist item of, saying, okay, this person needs this today, this person needs this today, and I can just keep it in order. Having a CRM integration is huge with this tool, and Zenlist is very, very good about integrating with most platforms. And Nick will attest to this, but even if they don't have that direct integration right then and there, they're usually pretty quick to make one, right? So going through the tour section again, I can literally simply go in and just have the listed, property choices that my clients are marking. It's already requested, so I simply can just go in, put them in line order, and as soon as they're all confirmed, again, tour statuses, the times that I'm going, all of the access details, how to request the access goes directly into my calendar. And again, I operate pretty primarily out of Google, Gmail. That's just easy for me. But again, it's got separate integrations as well for, AOL users, any other separate platforms that you may be using. So this has been huge because then I don't have to go in and manually put in, okay, 123 Main Street, 126 Essex Street, whatever, like I was in the past. And this just goes directly into my calendar that I can then use as reference when I'm actually on the tour itself. Again, for people like us too that are going paperless now, in the past, we're always having to print out my MLS sheets and remember which one was which. I'd literally put like a 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, uh, stop point, if you will, to remember, okay, this is the one I'm seeing next. Now I don't have to do that. Now it's an order of the way I'd like to route my client. And then to that same point, I can say, okay, well, now I've got 3 clients that I'm taking on tours today, and I want to route it accordingly to where I'm going next. Say I've got Lakeview searches in the morning from 10 to 12. I've got to be in Schaumburg, by 1:30. I can say, okay, well, I'm going to try to get me as close to the Eisenhower as I can, right? Or close to the highway. And I can map it accordingly. So that's been a huge benefit as well. And then a couple other features that I always like to mention too. Hold on, let me get my screen back real quick. There we go. Um, Again, the real-time benefits for the consumers, the pre-market inventory, huge benefit, and then the accurate listing information to me was the huge perk. Because it hurt my heart almost to like hear clients that were like, "Oh, I'm in love with this property. It's absolutely everything that I wanted, but it just sold." It's such a it's like a demeaning feeling that you kind of get from the client because they're like, man, I really wish I could have seen this earlier. So that to me was huge. And then again, just to kind of wrap it up with how I like to integrate and how I keep everything in order. Like I said, those CRM integrations are like, I'm not kidding. It's a game changer. With Exit, primarily most agents here are using Wise Agent. I primarily work out of Follow Up Boss. For me, it's a different system, it's a different flow, and for how quick and just on the go I am, it just makes a little bit more sense for me to have it there. But when I'm in there and I'm getting the real-time notifications, again, everything is directly into Zenlist, right? So when I go into my Follow Up Boss account, I can literally say, okay, let me show this real quick. I can say, okay, now I'm back into what I fully operate out of on a daily basis and already have those notifications coming through and set up as a task. So each person I go in through, I can say, okay, this is my next client today. This is what I have to go through and do for this particular person. And every time they come in and say, okay, well, I'm going to use this one as a new example. Anytime that they have registered for Zenlist, requested any tours, I've got another one here I can show you. This was for, what's her name? Oh, here we go. So chat listings again, anytime somebody sends me a chat in Zenlist, I get a notification there. Tour requests, same thing. It'll say property address via tour request in Zenlist. I can click directly into it from my CRM and say, okay, it's taking me to the exact property this particular client wants to see. I can then call them, I can text them, I can say, hey, this is, a great option. What's your availability to schedule? I'm available today, 10 to 12 or 5 to 7. What works best for you? So the fact that Zenlist is so easily integratable from one tool to the next for me was the biggest, I guess, benefit from the agent's perspective. But in terms of feedback that I've received from my clients and the consumers that I've have found me on the app. That's another thing. I mean, people are like randomly searching like realtors in Chicago, and I've gotten clients directly from my Zen links, that I have posted on my Google business profile. They'd be like, "Hey, found you on Google. Looking to buy a house. Are you available today to talk details?" Having your Zen links, built together and readily available for whatever resources that you may be offering to your consumers. Um, keep them up because people are looking for that. So that's kind of everything that, gets me on the app, keeps me on the app. Um, every day they're building something new. So that's another benefit as well. There's always constant upgrades being made. And, if you're like, oh man, I like this feature, but I think it could work a little better. Taylor and Andres with, the development team, I think her name is Jessica or Jordan, one of the other ladies from the support team as well. If you relay those pieces of feedback, they're very receptive, and they're very quick to be like, hey, this may not happen right now, but um, keep an eye out in the next few weeks, and then magically something like that comes back around. So, Nick, I think you're muted.
David, that was awesome. I really appreciate you sharing your screen and sharing your experience with it. Obviously, you and I have both fallen in love with this app together and separately with our own clients. The feedback from my clients has been, why didn't you have this the whole time I worked with you? For the clients that have been with me from the beginning when I was, a young punk realtor, and they bought and sold all their properties through me or rented their properties through me. The consumer experience, the consumers just love this app. They can, add their wife, they can add their partner, they can add their cousin, their investor to the search. And it's so integratable because it's an app. It's not just a portal, it's an app. That's been a really big thing for the clients. I mean, the access to more properties, the wins we've had for clients. I currently have a client under contract. Tabor actually and I are doing this deal together. It wasn't even on the private listing network. It was in temp status. That would have never been sent to the consumer on a traditional search. But because it's in Zenlist and our clients have the joy and the access of being able to do their own search filters and play around in there, my client goes, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, that one's not on the market. It's temporarily off the market, but let me reach out to that agent because that could be a really great place for you." And let me tell you something. We got a great deal that if it was on the open market, we hit it right the right moment, that property. It was in the middle of being rehabbed and fixed. There was some stuff work that needed to be done. If that had gone back on the open market, even the private listing network, I think my client wouldn't have gotten it. And I have so many wins for my clients in the private listing network that when I post a closing, I had a closing on Newport, a multi-unit building on Newport. I did over in Lakeview in this neighborhood. And when I posted the picture, I had realtors and consumers going, "I wondered what that property. What? How did you get that property? We tried to go in there, and the date was already under contract. How did you get in there?" Private listing network had one in Humboldt Park, just west of Western, where people literally Crane Chicago messaged me on one of my deals. They're like, "That price was really low." I'm like, "I know, because it should have been on the open market, in my opinion, but it was only in the private listing network." The agent was getting frustrated, and I rolled in there with my client, and we got it. And it's really, really a unique competitive advantage for you guys to have this tool. So I'm going to go into a couple things. And again, Tabor, thank you so much for your time on this, and feel free to stay on if you'd like. I know you're a busy guy. Um, what I really have also enjoyed with my clients is uh, the ability to see what they're looking at or not. Do you have a client that just isn't really that motivated? Well, you're going to know. And actually, I share a client with Tabron, a good friend. Now he's a good friend, but at the beginning, I didn't really know him that well. He was referred by another friend of mine, and he bought a condo with me. We had a great experience. And about a month after he bought the condo with me, think about this for those of you guys that are still using the traditional MLS as I have not set up a traditional MLS search since 2020, since we were wearing the COVID masks. You know why? Experiences like this that I'm going to tell you right now. I set my now friend at that point, just a referred client onto the app. He goes and he buys his condo with me, closes on it, everything's great. A traditional MLS search, we would have canceled the search. They get annoyed. They don't want to see properties anymore. They're like, I closed. This was stressful, or I closed. This was great. I'm done. I don't need to see, emails anymore. I see him. He's on the app like I think it was a month or two later, and I'm like, you're looking at properties like a third of the price of yours in a totally different area. What are you doing? Like, it's just that was weird. I'm like, what's he looking at? So because I could see it, I reached out to him like, hey, saw you're on Zenlist looking at some other stuff. And he's like, you know what? I think I want an investment property. I got a really, I had a great bonus, had a great quarter at work. I think I want to do another property with you. I'm like, that's amazing. Now, I had a great client. They're very loyal. Hopefully I did a good job for them. That's why they decided to come back to me. However, they decided to come back to the app. They were still in the app, and that's how I knew to reach out. Same way if you know that there's people that haven't, they've gone on the app, but they're not logging in regularly. Check in with them. Hey, are you motivated? Are you not motivated? I have a client that I closed last fall with Darian Beal, another great exit strategy realty agent that I work with on Team Libert. And this client was English was her second language. And so her son was a client of mine. And so he could translate back and forth. But I knew that she wanted to hear and see things in her language. Did you know that Zenlist is in almost every language you could want? So if you've got clients that are in other languages, right in the app, there is a button that you can push that you can literally change the. Here, I'm going to pull up a listing. See this little translate button? I call it the translate button. I don't know what the actual emoji is for that. There's this little button, same way on the app. And that is you can take the remarks and the entire experience into look at all these different languages. And so Spanish was her native language. She would prefer to read in Spanish. Um, Also, I have another client that is hearing impaired, or that has an audio issue that is needed like to hear things. I think he was having a little bit of audio issues. Sometimes you've got visual issues. It will speak to them in the other language. So watch this. If you have not ever used this, so I don't speak Spanish very well. I certainly don't speak Portuguese or French, but let's speak French for a second. Now the remarks are in French. And again, if they have visual issues, it can speak to them as well. I'm going to play this for you.
Unité du centre-ville rare disponible dans un immeuble historique vintage de faible hauteur. Cette unité fraîchement peinte située dans un quartier calme de Uptown, dans une rue QDSAC, offre beaucoup d'espace et beaucoup de lumière partout. Les plans d'étage ouverts, les planches.
Uptown. So, guys, isn't that cool though? It is truly an app that breaks down so many barriers. Not only the private listing network, but also audio barriers, visual barriers, language barriers, leasing to purchase. I don't know whether I'm going to rent or buy. I'm not going to pick on any of my particular clients that are in this list over here, but I have clients that are like, I don't know whether I want to rent or buy. You'd be setting them up on multiple searches in the MLS over and over again. They'd still be going on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, sending you listings from everywhere. I probably once a quarter get a client screenshotting or sending me a link off of Zillow or Redfin anymore. Do you know why? They've got it all right here. They've got the private listing network. They've got more than anywhere else. They love the app. They stop going on those other portals. So really, really, it not only great for you as the agent, but great for them as the consumer. I love the chat feature because some of you that work with me at Exit know that, I mean, there's 200 and something, 70 of us almost now. There's a lot of text messages on my phone. There's a lot of clients on my phone. I love the fact that there's kind of like a separation of church and state. There's a little portal in there with that chat feature that it's like, this is my real estate chat. So for some of my clients, this is really where we deep dive into the property conversations, especially during the search process. And one more thing about the search process, two more things actually. The tour feature I love because when I go into the tours, and so this is a tour that I'm going to show you several things. Actually, I love. You can tell I'm passionate about this app. It's a good friend of mine, my friends from law school. Actually, we went and looked at a bunch of different places, and he wanted to know where we're starting. You can add that tour to your calendar. You can export that tour to them. They're going to see it right in their app. You don't even need to send them a calendar invite. Hey, your tour schedule, the entire schedule. We're going to meet here at 11. We're going to be here at 11:30. Here's your entire schedule for the day. It literally stops. Are we going to see this one? Are we going to see that one? Think of all the things that the time you would save and the time your consumer would save, the frustration your consumer will save when you do it this way. Another thing that I love is the shared client feature. See where they've got these little arrows here? This client has been shared with. So I have clients that I share with other agents. So in other words, you're co-agent. We're busy, some of us. Eddie is very busy. Top producer, star of Joliet, literally. He's got a lot going on. When you are busy as an agent and you're building a team or you have a team, the handoff is so important. It's not a handoff. I don't like the word handoff anymore because I used to say, oh, it's a handoff to your team member. It never was with me, very rarely was with me because I stay in my deals. I'm not that type of team. No offense to those that are, but I'm in my deals. But even for somebody that's going to just refer a client. So suppose you get somebody you've done a great job promoting yourself and somebody says, "Oh, I want to lease a place in South Shore." And I'm like, "You know what? I live in Lakeview. That's 45 minutes from my house on a bad day in traffic. I don't think I have the bandwidth today to be the best agent for you, but thank you for signing in my portal. I've got a really great agent. Edna at my office is amazing. And she's a little bit closer there. And you know what? She knows that area a lot better than me. I want to partner up with Edna with you on this." And you're literally able to go in and just in 5 seconds, you can add a agent. And then you still see the activity with that agent. So in other words, sometimes when I partner up with people and they're not in Zenlist, well, I don't partner up with people that aren't in Zenlist anymore, by the way. I don't know what's going on. It's like, what happened to my client? My client is important to me. Even if I referred it out or I'm doing it as a team, I want to know what's going on. And by the way, this is not just for buyers. This is for sellers too. There's a whole other toolkit in here for sellers. So you really want to go in once you get the app and play around a little bit with it, because not only is there the Zenlink public profile, but you can look up other agents. So I can look up people's sales volume. I can pick on folks. You can literally, let's pick on Matt Laracy. I love this because you can look up other agents and you can see their listing sides, their production sides. You can see who your little buddies are in the industry, who are you talking to. But also, these integrations are ridiculous. Tabor likes Follow Up Boss. I pay for Wise Agent for all of our agents at Exit Strategy Realty. You may have your CRM of choice, but I want to instantly, when they sign up here, I want them going into my CRM. This is one and done, guys. This is about as easy as this is the easy button to me. And it's also the good button. We haven't even gotten into, and I know we're running a little long and detailed here. You can have lenders. You can have lenders connected in there. The lender, if you've got a trusted lender in there, the lender and the client, or you can have multiple lenders in there, I believe. The lender and the lender can see what the client is seeing, so you're not going out and seeing stuff the client can't afford, or the lender can coach them on that. And what do I mean by that? You know, there's a mortgage calculator. We talked about the language, the cool language feature. There's a mortgage calculator built right into this too. Do you guys hopefully know that? Mortgage calculator built right in. So when a client's saying, you know, for a multi-unit, does this cash flow? Well, I don't know. Let's look at the numbers. There's the payment calculator right there. And also it's got comps. That's a newer feature. It's got comps. It's not a CMA, not yet, but they're working on it. Taylor and Andres and I are talking next week. They're actually, they have a session with me coming up. So this app is incredible. And you just got to learn it and navigate it and love on it. If you're already on the platform, my advice to you would be start using it with your sellers, start using it with your renters if you're not already. It is a lifetime app because that's why I pay for it for all my agents. A lifetime app for the consumer because I'm going on year 5 with Zenlist. And I got to tell you, I have people that I've almost like, I don't want to say I forgot about them, but it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't reached out to them in a while, a long while. But they are on the app. Ooh, I should probably reach out. Duh. Hey, dummy. You know, you got people out there that are maybe looking to buy or sell again, that are going to have a family member move to the area, or who knows what they're going to do next. This is a lifetime thing. It's not an MLS search. It is a lifetime app. You are giving your consumer a long-term item of value. So if you have if you've watched this long, you have zero interest of ever coming to Exit Strategy Realty, I do have a discount code for you. If you go to coachwithprojectx.com, you get 25% off your first month with Zenlist when you use the code Libert. Okay? It's not cheap. I think it's $59, $79. I don't know. It's not cheap a month. But let me tell you, how much is an hour of your time worth? How much is an hour of your time worth? I have not set up an MLS search since 2020. I save at least 10 hours a week because I'm sorry, I'm a busy agent. In my heyday of before I really dive deep into coaching in this post NAR settlement and high interest rate world, I was doing $2 million a month in production. And 10 hours a week were given back to me by the Zenlist app because my clients weren't changing if they wanted to look at a different area, guess what? I could just send them in the app. They could set the searches up on their own. My buyer presentation's right there. My seller presentation's right there. It's the easy button. You really want to dive all the way in to what this app can do for you. If you're just using it, for those of us that are at Exit Strategy, just kind of using it as a baseline portal, you really want to educate your consumer as well. And maybe what you might want to do is going under a separate email address. You know, I tell everyone don't have a second email address. It drives me nuts. But if you want to have like a burner email address, the same way that I did for the lifetime client concierge portal, which we give as part of our Project X Exit Strategy Realty consumer experience, I signed up as a client. You should be a client in here. Sign up through the portal so you can see it from the consumer standpoint. It's magic. It's absolute magic. Your clients love it. So I have talked a lot. I would love to answer any questions you all have about Zenlist. Oh, I have one more thing. One more thing that this is nerdy, but um, I am trying to be paperless. I swear by, hey guys, everything's in your app. The tour's in there. You can make notes as we go out. But I have this funny feeling that some of my clients still like paper. So don't you guys, if you guys are still, talk to me. Are you guys still printing out MLS sheets? I won't be mad because guess what? I'm going to tell you I am too. Are you guys still printing out MLS sheets for your clients for tours?
Yes.
Yep. Let me show you the easy button. And again, I love it that when the clients just sit here and request their tours in the app. But when they get in their tours, what's going to happen is, so remember, I'm going to pick on my friend Stuart again. You literally go in here and see it's got all these addresses. See where it says view MLS IDs? You literally can copy that and then go right into Connect MLS. The only time I log into Connect MLS is either to do a cloud CMA or to spit out property information sheets from the MLS. I just cut and paste this into the MLS and then I print out my MLS sheets. Takes 5 seconds. So that's another quick tip for you. Adding these to your calendar, your Google Calendar is great. My car and Tabern's car both now, like you get in the car and the car literally knows where you're going. So it's like, hey, it's in the calendar. If you've got a smart car, some of these newer models now that come out, they've got these sync up to your calendar on your phone or your Google Calendar. I mean, some of these cars are driving themselves. This is how cool this technology is. This is really going to save you a lot of time from start to finish with
Nick, can you do that one more time with those MLS numbers? I was writing them down, going to do my CMAs and stuff because I find them over here. Then I go to MLS because I want it to look really cute and formal. But can you do that again?
so normally you're sitting there going cut paste, cut paste. Remember that's the old school struggle in Connect MLS. Not anymore. So you've got your tour set up. You literally go right up to the top. You're not going to export them because that's what you think you do, right? You don't need to do a Excel spreadsheet. No. You just literally go click on view MLS IDs and see the copy button. And then you go right into Connect MLS and then print them out from there. So then you go literally right into Connect MLS and print them out from there. So what do you use for your do you use like the old, so I go in the MLS and I literally do just this, the MLS number. Cut and paste. Done. Your results. Print those suckers out. Obviously, this is an old tour, so these are all sold. But actually, 2 of them are canceled. And then you go and print them out. But that's so you don't have to cut and paste anymore. It's literally just take it from the clipboard.
Very nice. Or either I'm like not having my sheets. So that's good. Thank you.
And so because Darnish and I think sometimes live the same life, there are days that Nick Libert's printer at home has decided not to print for me quite nicely, or I'm running on Libert's standard time, late with Libert. And when I'm running on late with Libert's standard time, by the way, I don't know why my video keeps freezing up. I think this is a sign that Apple wants me to buy a new computer, but not today. Not today. Goes to Steve Jobs. This is so easy to, if you do run late and you can't, you spill coffee on the papers or something happens and the printer jams or something. Guess what? You've got this beautiful app right there telling you all the information on the properties. The tour's already set up. There are clients that I do say to them, are you okay? Do you want paper or not? And I have clients that are super green or super into the app, and they're like, I don't want paper. And so there's no papers in my car at the end of the day. I'm like, wow, this is great. So, but ask them, that's a personal preference. What else, guys? What other questions can I answer for you, or thoughts, feedback?
Is question, is this good for a lot of states or other states other than Illinois?
So it will only work. So Zenlist is it goes by MLS. So they are in
Oh,
MLSs, but you are in one MLS. So your client. Now, that's a great question, Edna. Huh. By the way, for those of you that are at Exit Realty, stay tuned because I'm working on a little secret project through Project X on that. But it does work in other areas. They're not in every MLS. So it's not a nationwide portal, but your consumer will see the MLS or MLSs, or if you're listening very closely and you're part of our office, because you paid your Project X platform one-time fee, the other private sources of listings. Anything with a data feed can get into Zenlist. So what I'm saying, Edna, is if you are licensed in more than one area or you are in more than one MLS, that client will see those listings in multiple areas. If you're only in your MLS, you still have the opportunity to hand off that client to someone in another area that's also on Zenlist. So it's a great benefit to be asking friends that are watching this video later, at Exit Realty and beyond, are you also on Zenlist? Because even in an area where they don't have the private listing network, this is a far superior consumer experience. I do have friends in other areas that I've sent the app to, that we've played around with it. That they're like, why would I be anywhere else? This is the best app out there. So it's a nationwide product, but not every agent is on it. So at our office, I pay for it. You just got to pay your one-time platform fee. Everybody else that's watching this that isn't an exit strategy, you pay whatever you pay for it. Again, I've got that one time, you get 25% off your first month when you click on my link at coachwithprojectx.com. It is well worth whatever you're going to pay for it. This is one of I do a lot of dumb stuff, guys. Unless you guys don't have other questions, we may end with this. I do a lot of dumb stuff. This is one of the things that I'm proud of, in my career, is that I was the second adopter of this after App Properties. They were the first. They're not going to be most likely on this platform, those agents, because they're going to go to the Compass platform. So we're kind of like the legacy first now. I love this product because of the access it brings to the consumer, and the ease it is for the agents. So, when the market got contracted and got a little rough, I was like, hey, I'll sell that little fancy Range Rover I had bought brand new in 2021 when the market was real good, to keep this tool going for our consumers and our agents, because it's that powerful of a tool. I'm like, I'll drive a little older car for a while. This is something that is changing the game for our agents and the consumers. My consumers, I watch your consumers, those of you that are newer to Exit, that may have been with you on the traditional MLS searches. They're gonna be like, why didn't you have this before? I hear that all the time. They're like, why didn't you send me this earlier? I'm like, well, first of all, it didn't exist until in MLS, in MRAD, in our MLS, until 2020. And I found it later in 2020, and some of you found Exit Strategy or Zenlist later on your own. What other questions do you guys have for me?
thank you.
It is a long-winded answer, and then watch out. Um,
I had a question about integration for Wise Agent. I believe I'm integrated, but I'm not getting the best use of it. I did notice you were saying, because I have several people who have signed up and who are using it. Um, this might be a question for somebody who's not as up to date on their stuff. What integrations should I be using for it to be most helpful? Because I'm using Zenlist a lot, but if there's nothing happening in Wise Agent with these clients that are there, closed or even still looking, renters, buyers, and sellers.
So, I mean, look, I think I might slightly be confused by the question. So, first of all, for everybody that does not have their, so if you're already on the platform on Zenlist, you will absolutely want to get it connected to your CRM of choice. Now, at X Strategy Realty through Project X, I pay for Wise Agent for all of you. Wise Agent, you just click on connect with your API key to get it connected. Once it's connected, the consumer will feed in to your Wise Agent account. And so they'll be in there. So the contact information for the consumer will be in there. Two notes on that. Number one, sometimes depending on how they sign in, maybe they gave you their Gmail address, but then they signed up using their iPhone and it's got their Apple ID. You'll every once in a while get a duplicate. You know, you'll figure it out. You'll be fine. Once they're in there, I use Zenlist almost as it's not a CRM, but I use it as a second trigger to get into my Wise Agent and update them, or just be reaching out to the consumer. So if I'm sitting here looking at my client list and I see somebody towards the top, it's like, oh, okay, I might want to reach out to them. If I don't see somebody towards the top, I might want to reach out to them. So there's somebody with zero interaction. That to me is a trigger. You know, scroll all the way down. I have 210 total people in here. If I scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's some people that I might want to reach out to, right? You know, some people that bought with me 4 or 5 years ago when I first started to use the app that haven't been on since. So it's a great trigger for you to also be going in your Wise Agent and checking out and seeing like what else, you know, have you sent them your monthly newsletter? Have you sent them a Wise text of your marketing? For those of you guys that are really using all the tools that are Project X. This is for those of you guys that are watching this later that aren't an exit strategy. Sorry, this is just extra stuff. But I use this as a second prompt to reach out to people. It's like there's names on here that I should be reaching out to, which is why for those of you that don't have a lot of people in here, I want your Zenlist, Zenlink everywhere. I want it in your email signature. I want the QR codes out there. I don't care how you get. And by the way, if you don't know where all that stuff lives, click on account. And then you've got your Zenlink public profile. You can see where it says share link in the top right-hand side. You can share your link. You have a QR code you can download. Talk to Amanda, the graphic designer. You got all kinds of different cool. So at our office, that's something I pay for as a graphic designer, but or your Canva if you're out there in the real world. You know, talk to your branding, marketing expert, your coach, your graphic designer about how to get this out there. In our office, you talk to me and to Amanda. You want to get as many people on this portal as possible because they love it and it's fun. And then for you, it's not only is an item of value, it's another thing for you. It's another reason for you to reach out. If Darnisha's got a lot of people in her database, I think. Donna Crane's got a lot of people in her database. Donna Crane and I go way back. We were team leaders at Keller Williams way back in the day. We have big databases. It's nice to see a fresh face in terms of like somebody pops up in my client list here. They're not at the top of my Wise Agent. They may not be at the top of my Wise Agent. I'm going to do a lot of training in April on Wise Agent for everybody because Coach with Project X, for those of you guys that are not with Exit, I will still coach you through these public sessions that we're doing, these realtor engagement series. So stay tuned to the social media or somebody that they send you this video later. I'm also going to be doing sessions on Wise Agent, and I've got a discount code for you if you're going to use Wise Agent and you're not going to be at Exit Strategy Realty at our office. I pay for that as part of Project X. What other questions do you guys have? I know I'm running over on time. Sorry, I talk a lot. Donna Crane, congratulations on your closing yesterday. All right, any other questions?
Nick, I have a question, but it's in regards to Wise Agent. Did you get my text?
Oh, I did. And Brandon from Wise Agent is actually going to work on that. He said that he's like, oh, so you're the first person to notice that the shared content feature is missing. And I said, that's because I bet you most other coaches aren't doing the newsletter for their agents. So he's going to look into how that will be easy. I told him I just want the button back.
Yeah, I was the one that I called Wise Agent, and that's how they found out. That's how I found out because I was having an issue because it was on there at first when you first did the newsletter, and I first did the newsletter. Then when I go back a couple of days later, it was no longer there. Every time I click on it, it comes up something. Yeah, so
We're gonna
I
have
called on that.
yeah, thank you. So they are on it. They're working on that. They want to
Okay, that was all I wanted.
they did a nice update to their content library. And when they did that, they thought that it was so great they could take away the share button. I'm like, don't take away my share button. And this is something, guys, for those of you that work with me regularly or at our office, I'm in so deep to these tools. I mean, I'm a nerd. I don't have kids. I got plants instead of puppies. I love technology and I love working with the consumer experience and the agent experience and learning these tools for you and getting in deep with the um data people. Andres and Taylor at Zenlist, Brandon, the CEO of Wise Agent. I'm a nerd of real estate. You got Eddie. Eddie, I like to say, like, let Eddie go out and be great in the streets. Let Edna go out and be great, and Donna go out and Darnisha go, Tara, everybody go out and you go out and be great. Let me be a nerd. And I'm not gonna do 2 million a month or 24 million in 12 months anymore. I want to kind of just be that nerd. I'm still going to do some deals because that's how I found this technology. I'm still going to do some deals because I can find out what's going on in the streets and in the consumer mindset to continue to build out Project X. But and coach some of you guys that are kind of hang out with me in social media. But um, really, I think that it's critical that I continue to work with these vendors and upfront say to them, if I'm going to pay for these tools for my agents, or if I'm going to pay for it for myself, I want to go in deep with you. Every vendor that I work with, I'm in deep. So this is something where, like Edna, with my challenge to these vendors when we start with them is I'm like, my agents are going to blow up your phones and blow up your. We want phone numbers, we want email addresses, we want webinars. Um, I want you to go to them as much as you come to me because they're the ones that built the tools. I'm going to coach you on them from my standpoint, but also we love to have guests like Tabron. For Wise Agent, we're going to have Lana and Victoria mastermind with you. For RoomView, we're going to have Sam from RoomView show you and not try to sell you on an upgrade, but show you how to use the tool as I purchased for it for you in Project X. So April's going to be a very busy month for training for those of you guys that are our office, and there will be public versions of this with the same text grow with X strategy to 85377. That got you here today. Anything else, guys? Going once, going twice. I appreciate you. This will be on YouTube shortly, and we will have an amazing April training calendar for everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather outside.
Just want to add that I love Zenlist and it's really making me stand out and growing as an agent. So I love it. I love it. And I'm able to see what all my clients are doing. So thanks for these kind of investments, Nick.
Well, I appreciate you, and also thank you for inviting your friend to come join us. We're excited about her moving her license over and getting better service and coaching with us. So we're gonna get you like Heather Walters. By the way, it's Heather Walters' 40th birthday today. I think she'll be mad that I said 40th, but say happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday, Heather.
Live like Heather, where she's getting her current commission split's 115.5%, because she's got 4 or 5 good people making 10% residual bonuses because she's introduced them to the company. I want you guys to really win and make over 100% commission. That is the living the exit dream, I call it. So
Awesome.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. This has been recorded, and it will be on YouTube and in your inboxes shortly if you're at my office. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.